Welcome to Cooking with Andrea. Today we're going to be doing a chicken enchilada in my beautiful crock pot. I cooked the chicken in the crock pot, the whole 9 yards. I'm going to get started. I used about 3 tablespoons of oil. That's what I'm going to warm my tortillas in, and that's how I'm going to layer them. I'm basically going to make like a rolled tortilla, but I'm going to leave this one flat. This is good for gatherings. We have a really busy week this week, so I wanted to make one dish this week where I could just have it so we could have lunches, or if I need to, this can be my dinner that night. It's already done. I'm good to go. This is a good meal if you're going to your office party, baby shower, out picnicking. If you have a plug-in, this is the perfect thing to use. So I've got some oil. And then I want to let you know, I'm going to take the tortillas and we're going to use these tortillas. I have cheddar cheese and I have some Monterey Jack cheese. Yum. I love it. And then I'm going to get my chicken because I crock-potted my chicken yesterday and I shredded it this morning and I saved my what I call my chicken meat jelly. That's for my gravies, my broths, things like that. Discarded the fat and then deboned it, and then this is my chicken. So it cooked about 8.5, 9 hours on my crock pot. So I'm gonna go ahead and get some tortillas out because I wanna move all this stuff so that I can bring it closer, because basically, because I cooked the chicken already, most everything I have is already pre-done. The only thing I wanted to let you know is I went ahead and made my own enchilada sauce. I really like making my own enchilada sauce now. So that's what I did. If it's you don't have to make your own. If you like, I can go ahead and put this on. Just go ahead and send me, and I'll go ahead and give you the recipe for my enchilada sauce. But I did mine. But with my ingredients, it's real easy. You would get your 2 favorite cans of enchilada sauce. And what you want to do is just heat them so that it's just mildly warm. And you can see a little bit of the steam coming off because that's what's going to help heat everything for your casserole. You know, a lot of times my husband really likes ground beef enchiladas. So what I do is I make ground beef. I just set it in a bowl like I did here. But because he wanted chicken enchiladas this week, I went ahead and pre-did everything on the side so I could just show you how I'm going to make my enchilada. So this is basically what we're going to do. We're going to get started. I had a little drop of enchilada sauce in there because that'll tell me when my oil is ready. So what I'm going to do now that you see my enchilada sauce, you see my beautiful chicken. This is a lot of times what I do when I'm putting in sauce, dipping to sauce, and then I put more sauce as I go. So I'm going to go ahead and get my cheese put right here, my chicken. I need to move so you guys can see what I'm doing now. Let me move my crock pot closer. There's my chicken, which I'm going to use my hands because it's going to be easier for me to layer it onto my enchilada casserole in my crock pot. So then what I'm going to do is go ahead and move my tortillas here. So I want you to be able to see what I see. So I'm going to go ahead and put a couple of tortillas in. And because my sauce is mildly warm, but I want you to be able to see what I'm doing and how I'm layering. So, okay. Tortilla. We're going to warm. I'll go ahead and put them from my grease to my sauce, dip them in my sauce, and this is how I make all my enchiladas. The only difference with this one, instead of me rolling it, I'm just going to layer the bottom of my crock pot. So I'm going to go ahead, put 2 more in, just do this little repetition, and it's okay if one breaks. You know, it'll take you about 20 seconds to get everything for you to get into order. I always say when I'm making enchiladas and sauce and things like that, it takes me a couple minutes to get into my own. If I were smart, I would start a little bit before I get on camera so it would be a little bit easier. and everybody would be able to see. Oh, I'm just going to go ahead and use, being picky, which one I want to use when it comes time to drizzle a little sauce. Okay, so just take your tortillas, warm them up in your oil, and that's what makes them nice and pliable. Not only that, it gives it a good taste. You need a little bit of fat because, especially when you're doing chicken enchiladas, there's really no fat in them. Very little salt, especially if I make my own my own sauces. I don't have as much fat as I do, and that's okay. If you break one, it's no problem. What that's telling you though is that you have to let your tortilla get a little bit firmer. So that's why you keep them in like that, and you just let them cook for just a few minutes. It doesn't take much, but this is a really good recipe. I love this. I love my own enchilada sauce. Beautiful. It's nice to be able to make my own because, you know, sometimes now that I'm getting older, I think that I get heartburn. Sometimes, you know, like I love my Las Palmas, so that's what I make my tamales out of to this day. And then if I do need an enchilada sauce, my go-to can is Las Palmas. That's my favorite. And then, but most of the time now I make my own. Just make my own. Okay, the only thing is you see how thick my enchilada sauce is? Mine's just a teeny bit thicker. So I just need one more tortilla. It's so funny, I have to stand on my tippy toes. I'm kind of short. So I have to stand on my tippy toes just to see. And this is a really good luncheon, a really good dinner. What's going on is I already have my crock pot on. I've had it on for about a half hour. See, all our ingredients are pretty much cooked. I just want something fast, whereas if I don't want to eat it tonight, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I would go ahead and pre-make it, put it in my refrigerator. And when I mean put it in your refrigerator, literally, okay, my crock pot's been on for a minute. So all I would do is take out my crock pot. I pick it up, and I would take this if I were going to serve it for tomorrow. Oops, I don't want to come out. If I wanted to serve it for tomorrow, I would just make it like this. And then I put this in the refrigerator and not worry about it. But because I want to make it for like a luncheon for me and my husband and my son today, I am going to just go ahead and just do it like this. So I'm going to do 2 more tortillas. I usually do 5, 6 tortillas on the bottom. I don't want anything to escape. And I just barely drop my tortilla into the sauce because, like I said, my sauce is a lot thicker. Remember, it's easy, fast. And if you don't have a crock pot, just put it in your oven. Roll it or lay it flat. You do not have to always roll them. You can lay them flat too. Sometimes I get bored making enchiladas a certain way, so then what I do is I go and I roll them or I keep them straight, and it makes no difference. Okay, I'm going to take my hand because I want my chicken to be distributed evenly. And like I said, you know, I'm just going to make a nice little layer here. I'm going to get some cheese. Like I said, I've got Monterey Jack and I've got cheddar. And just put it in just like that. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take just a little layer of sauce. And I'm just going to sprinkle it just for a little bit more flavor. Now what I'm going to do, flip my tortillas, let them cook on this side for just a second. Boy, but this is really easy. Really inexpensive too. I bought the chicken. I got some chicken on sale. It was a whole chicken. That's why I put it in the crock pot. I love to use whole chickens, you know, when I'm doing enchiladas because it shreds good. Or you can keep it chunkier. Depends on how I feel like that day. And really, a lot of it just depends on how I feel that day. Do I want it chunky? Do I want it thinner? That's one thing. When you're the cook, you get to do all the decisions. Kind of already know what your family likes, you know. And the chicken tastes really good, inexpensive. But like I said, our favorite are probably ground beef. My husband just loves ground beef enchiladas. So that's what I make most of the time. So every once in a while I make chicken. So what I'm going to do is just flip my tortilla. And boy, with you doing the tortillas this way, I'll tell you a trick too. You know, if you didn't want to dip them in your sauce, you do not have to. I do, or I do at least most of them because it just adds all that flavor. But if you didn't want to dip it in there, you didn't understand why you do it, it's just 10 times more flavor than just doing it this way. And the reason you heat the tortilla is because, oh my gosh, it just makes it beautiful. It just makes it nice and soft. They won't break. They have a lot more flavor because you've got a little bit of hot oil going, and that sauce is just getting on there. Oh my goodness. That's why you do that. And like I said, if you rip one, don't worry. You're fine. You're fine. They're going to break. Oops, I got it on me though. I'm always getting stuff on me. Okay, so that's 5 tortillas. So now we're going to take another layer of chicken. And I layer a good amount of chicken. I like my enchiladas meaty. So that's how I do it. And you do not have to go to the top. Like I cannot go to the top. Otherwise we'd have to eat that for months. And I'd have to freeze it. So, you know, just layer your crock pot accordingly to how much you know you and your family will eat. I'm just going to take 1 scoop of sauce and I'm going to go like that. And now I'm going to dip my tortilla. And then we're going to go like that. And then I'm going to flip my tortilla. Little messy, but well worth the mess. Let me tell you, so delicious. So delicious. Okay, let me come down like this. Gonna go like that. And you can layer yours with cheese each and every time. I do mine every other one most of the time because I like cheese. Oh, I got some sauce on me. On the microphone and everything. Good Lord. That's only one thing. I am so messy when I cook. I really get into my cooking. I love my cooking. But I swear, my cooking is therapy. I love cooking. That's what I do. That makes my day, is just to go ahead and cook. Okay, let's put that little guy down just like that. Okay, like I said, keep your tortillas a little bit on the harder side, and they'll come out perfect. Okay, throw that piece of chicken in. Okay, let me go ahead. Just wipe my little greasy fingers as I picked up that piece of chicken. I do not want to burn myself. Okay. And then we're going to flip it over. And now we're going to flip another tortilla, get another one in there. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put my cheese in the refrigerator so it stays good. And then we'll come back here. I have a tendency to leave everything on the counter for a second, or I put it away right away. Okay, we've got plenty in there. I'm going to go ahead and add some more chicken. We got 5 tortillas in there already. Goes fast when you're having chicken fun, chicken tortilla, enchilada fun. Okay, that's enough chicken in there. I'm going to put a big dose of cheese. Let's go ahead and get a nice thing of sauce. And I always make extra sauce so that we are fine. I'll put just one more. Rather it be more saucy than not, because I want everything to be nice and juicy. Plus that's going to be our go-to lunch or dinner. Okay, we're going to do another round. Let's get this one out. We're going to get 2 more tortillas in. And this is all the work. Then basically all we're going to do is let this heat. As soon as the cheese is melted on top, you know your crock pot is ready to go. Your enchiladas are ready to go. These are nice and juicy. And this is all we do. And we have a few more to go. And then basically we'll put the top on. We're on high and we'll let it cook for probably about 20-30 minutes. Check the cheese and we're good to go. Like I said, this is a good one to have everything even cold and just layer it like this. And you would be good to go. No problem. Nice and easy. Now I'm going to just flip this one over. Nice and beautiful. And remember, just arrange it when it gets onto your casserole. It can be messy, you taking it out, but you're going to love this recipe. This is an easy recipe. And like I said, if you want my enchilada sauce recipe, just let me know, and I'll get it on there for you. Otherwise, just use your favorite. And then, like I said, use your crock pot, though. Your crock pot is wonderful, you know? And you'll be good to go. But this is a really nice way to be able to take this out to a family member's house, an event, gathering, good potluck for church, school, whatever. I used to do it all the time when I worked. Okay, we got 5 tortillas here. So I'm going to just put my chicken like this, and that's a nice amount. Now what we're going to do is, because I have a half a crock pot full of chicken casserole, that's going to feed us. If you fill this whole thing, oh my gosh, it will feed so many people. You'll be so pleased. So inexpensive. Okay, I'm just going to do a small layer of cheese because now I'm going to finish with tortillas on top and just sauce and cheese. Now I'm going to do one more layer because, like I said, my enchilada has to be nice and juicy. Otherwise, I don't want any part of it. Okay. I'm going to get a couple more tortillas. Lovely corn tortillas. I love my corn tortillas. So delicious. And like I said, this is so easy. Take any meat. No meat. My sauce can be made too for people who are vegetarian. Only thing that I add is broth to mine, or granules to mine. And then, but if you were a vegetarian and you did not want everything in here, it's chipotle, it is California chili peppers, it's chili powder, it is oregano, garlic powder, and then all I have is 6 teaspoons of I have 6 teaspoons of regular all-purpose flours, 6 teaspoons of oil in my sauce, 2 cans of tomato sauce, and that is it. Okay, the rest of the shells I'm just going to lay on top because we're getting ready to finish. And this is just my covering. And then that's where all the rest of my enchilada sauce is going to go on top with cheese. So I'm not too worried about dipping it in. But what I want it to do is I want it to be nice and hot, so it's going to start melting everything from the bottom. And then the crock pot's already hot. And then with this hot, warm sauce, warm tortillas, it'll melt the cheese faster. So as soon as this is melted, by thumb, you can actually start eating. You know, and if you were in a hurry and you wanted to eat right away, all you do is cut a piece, put it in the microwave. You'd be fine. But the reason I use the crock pot today is because we do need this for during the week. I do need to go to this week. And so instead of a TV dinner or something that I do, this is my TV dinner. It's homemade, pretty much. I did everything myself. And it's ready to go. Now my family gets a little bit better than me just warming up my lasagna. Because, you know, you could just do, when you have a busy week, sometimes I just do a Stouffer's lasagna. I pick my best that I like, and I go to. So I put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to put 6 tortillas so everything's nice and melted and covering everything that I've done already. And like I said, it's just going to be delicious. Okay, and we're good. This one does not have to be as hard because I'm not dipping it into sauce. There's all these little tricks, but I'm sure most of us know how to make this wonderful goodness here. But you know, just sometimes we need a different recipe. That's what I like. Sometimes, you know, boy, you take somebody else's recipe and you make it, and you and your family will say, "Oh, it's so good. What'd you do this time?" I said, "Oh, I used one of my wonderful ladies' recipes that I follow, or something like that," and they'll be like, "Oh, it's so good," you know, and you're like, "Oh, good," you know. Everybody needs a little bit of a change. Okay, so this looks absolutely beautiful. And do you see how much food we have? I'm going to throw away my one tortilla because I use it as my ladle, is what I use it for, so I don't make such a mess. Now, what I want to do is I want to show you how it looks. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to cover it, and we'll be back, you know, in about 30 minutes. Well, I'll come back every 30 minutes just to show you what it looks like. Okay. Oh, this little sucker is hot. Let me see. I want you to be able to see right in so you see it. It's heavy too, so. But, oh, no, I'm going to have to go this way. So I want you to see how it looks like that. Looks absolutely beautiful. So I want you to see, but very important, and sometimes because I'm on this side of the camera, I can't see always what you guys see or how you see it, you know, and plus I'm blind as a bat. Okay, so we're done. We're going to let this heat for 30 minutes and see what 30 minutes gives us. Like I said, this is maybe not a luncheon you would want right this second, but this is something that you want to go ahead and pre-make for the day before so that you have good quality food, or food that you guys enjoy, because you can do this with lasagnas, all sorts of things. So we'll be back in 30 minutes. Welcome back. It's been 1 hour, and boy, the cheese is just melted beautifully. So my little crock-pot dish here, my enchilada chicken or crock-pot casserole, it takes about an hour to get it nice and warmed. But a few hints on this: it's really relatively inexpensive. Corn tortillas don't cost more than a couple bucks for 30, 40 of them. And then the cheese, I always have it on hand. The chicken, I believe I got them for like $4.38 a piece. I bought 2 at a time. And then my sauce, I made it from scratch. So the only real cost there would be the 2 cans of tomato sauce. You can use regular broth, or you can use granulated broth and just add water to it. Vegetarian, real simple, just don't add the broth and don't add the chicken. Everything would be fantastically perfect. So now we're going to cut in to my enchilada casserole. And we're going to take a piece out. The cheese is melted nice. Like I said, this is a nice thing to take to a family gathering. You know, I didn't even think about it, but Cinco de Mayo. You know, if you were having guests over, or you were going, or like I said, I'm just merely using it, honestly, for something that we need this week desperately. We need a fast couple meals. We've got a very busy week going on this week. And this has just been in for 1 hour. You leave it for a couple hours, it'll stay fine. As long as you keep the temperature up, you're fine and dandy. So this is our chicken enchilada. Let's give it a bite. Good. Fantastic. The only thing is I would go ahead and give this about 30, 40 more minutes on heat, as I like mine so hot. But it is ready to go, and I want you to enjoy this. If you like the content, if you could please like and subscribe, I'd be most grateful. Enjoy your chicken enchilada casserole in your crock pot.